Hello everyone, this is Joffamae Cagorong from AB Literature 1B, and the lesson I am going to discuss today is about the digital self and other in cyberspace. According to Alice Marwick 2013, the term online identity implies that there is a distinction between how people present themselves online and how they do offline. When we say online identity, that means you have an identity that is related on how you look, what you do, and what you say when you're using the internet or your gadgets. The you or the self in online world is far different from the real world. As mentioned in our past topics, the self act or have behaviors depend on the situation it is in. Since we are living in a digital age than face-to-face interaction, the interaction we have now involves technology such as smartphones, computers, and other gadgets. Thus, we build our digital self. Online identity and self in cyberspace, or the I, me, myself, and my user ID online identity. Online identity, it is the new sum of your characteristics and interactions. Because you interact differently with each website you visit, and each of those websites will have a different picture of who you are and what you do. Sometimes, the different representations of you are referred to as partial identities because one of them has a full, true picture of who you are. According to InternetSociety.org 2011, your online identity is not the same as your real-world identity because the characteristics you represent online differ from the characteristics you represent in the physical world. Every website you interact with has its own idea of your identity because each one you visit sees you and your characteristics differently. Meanwhile, according to Boyd 2010, online most research on identity focused on self-presentation. So, social media like social networking sites, blogs, and online personas require users to self-consciously create virtual depictions of themselves. One way of understanding such self-presentation is the information and materials people choose to show others on a Facebook profile or Twitter stream. But identity is also expressed through interacting with others, whether over instant messenger or email. How do you build your online identity? And every website that you interact with will collect its own version of who you are based on the information that you have shared. You, as the subject of your personal information, have the ultimate right and responsibility to control who has access to certain pieces of it, and when and to protect it from abuse to the best of your ability. There are many pieces of information about you, ranging from publicly available to very private, and it is good to be aware of who is asking for it, why they want it, and how it is and will be used and protected. There are varying levels of trust that relate to the risk associated with any particular interaction. It is ultimately up to us to make determination about how much trust to put in any particular person or service we encounter online. It is also up to us to take whatever steps we decide are necessary as a result to protect our information and ourselves. Selective self-presentation and impression management. These are characteristics showing behaviors designed to convey an image about ourselves to other people and to influence the perception of other people in this image. So this explains why our behavior online can change if we notice that we are being watched or observed, and it can also change depending on who we are interacting with or what personal information we need to provide to present ourselves in a way that will be accepted to others. Thus, when we create a digital self, we can only select the characteristics we want to present or express to the online world. Impact of online interactions of the self. According to Riley, Sanfi, Aronson, Nistrom, Cohi 2004, online interaction does not require cognitive or emotional involvement, making our interaction with it much easier. This means that interacting through a computer or any gadgets does not require any emotional feelings, assurance, or awareness to maintain any communication you have online, since we do not know what are they thinking about, what their intentions are, and so on. Unlike the interaction with human partners or loved ones that requires more emotional involvement and more cognitive effort. Extend self in digital world. As originally conceived, the extended self is composed of a person's mind, body, physical possessions, family, friends, and affiliation groups. With the advent of the internet, social media, online games, virtual worlds, and other digital activities, together with the devices through which participation in such activities takes place, there is a greatly expanded set of ways in which we may represent ourselves to others. Research and theory on the extended self must now consider features such as dematerialization, re-embodiment, and construction of self. A glimpse on the ideas of Russell W. Belk on his extended self in a digital world. Number 1. Dematerialization is our written communications, recorded music, photos, videos, and data are among the once tangible artifacts that have dematerialized into digital ciphers of their former selves. Dematerialization has changed in the digital world as Belk describes. Our possessions such as photos, videos, music, and information are now all immaterial and can all be stored on our electronic devices, where we can view them whenever we want with the click of a button. Belk also proposes 4 functions of virtual consumption. First, stimulates consumer desire for both material and virtual goods. Second, actualize possible daydreams such as those of wealth and status by enacting them in a video game. Third, actualizes impossible fantasies such as being a magician or a space pirate with a magical objects. Fourth, facilitates experimentation such as being a criminal in a video game. Number 2 on the ideas of Russell W. Belk on his extended self in a digital world is re-embodiment. Disembodiment. Compared to face-to-face meetings, we are disembodied when we use social media, email, blog, engage in online dating or virtual worlds, or play digital video games. Hence, we are more likely to represent ourselves virtually in virtual bodies, but this does not necessarily mean that we represent ourselves accurately or honestly online. And there is tendency to choose online virtual representations that are closer to the fantasy or ideal self than the actual self. The third one is sharing, uploading, downloading, etc. to provide free access of information through web surfing. The internet is described by Belk as being a cornucopia of information that anyone can access, mostly for free. This is how the extended self of sharing has changed in the digital world, as we can access information like never before. With digital devices making it so easy to find any piece of information, it is clear how the sharing aspect has changed massively. Belk especially talks about how anyone with a Facebook account can share any personal information they want, and how it is a key part of self-presentation for one for one for 1/6 of humanity. Number 4, co-construction of self. Our digital involvement is social in nature. Charles Coley's Looking Glass self-theory suggested that we come to know ourselves through the mirror of others' reaction to us. In the digital world, tagging, comments, endorsements, likes, and similar feedback provide much more input than the feedback we are likely to get face-to-face, despite the possibilities of self-expression and presentations of the extended self in digital media. It is not always something that is completely in our control. We might get positive feedbacks from other people online, but there are negative sides that can ruin our reputation. The fifth and last one is distributed memory. In a digital world, there is a new set of devices and technologies for recording and archiving our memories. The non-digital objects that form a part of the extended self are often able to provide a sense of past through their association with events and people in our lives. This includes photographs, souvenirs, etc. Boundaries of the online self: private versus public, personal versus social identity online, and sexuality online. As technology continues to rapidly advance, individuals and society are profoundly changed. And so are the tools used to measure this universe, and therefore, our understanding of reality improves. Boundaries of Self and Reality Online examines the idea that technological advances associated with the internet are moving us in multiple domains toward various edges. These edges range from self to society to relationships and even to the very nature of reality. Boundaries are dissolving and we are redefining the elements of identity. Before this discussion ends, here are the things you should remember in setting boundaries to your online self. First, stick to safer sites. Second, guard your passwords. Third, be choosy about your online friends. Fourth, remember that anything you put online or post in a site is there forever, even if you try to delete it. Fifth, don't mean or embarrass other people online. And last is, limit what you share online.